Going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the I Am Wrestling post show. I am the man that puts the G in Gordon solely, Danny Etzioni, accompanied as always by my broadcast partner, the cold one, Dan Praete. Dan, how are you, my friend?
Welcome to the I am the cold one, Dan Praete, joined alongside as always Dan, the G in Gordon solely. Excuse me, Dan Etzioni. How are you this evening?
I'm all good, man. All good. Excited for all three matchups we got coming up next week. I mean, Dan, let's get right into it. We saw this six-way go down into it generated into three different matchups that we have to watch all week next week. I mean, I'm excited, but these rivalries have really boiled over.
Yeah, they've certainly splintered in 1,000 different directions, if you will. But what we saw to bring you folks in tonight was Hamza Shah Khan and the Mighty Maki, kind of squaring off with El Presidente, the former Urban Empire champion, but still the European Cruiserweight champion. So he still has gold around his waist, but that mountain of a man known as the Mighty Maki is not far behind, if you know what I'm saying. He's breathing on his shoulder.
Yeah, and I'm super curious to see just what exactly the dynamic between Hamza Shah Khan and the Mighty Maki is. Like, they debuted 3 weeks ago. I thought it was going to be more of a managerial role that Hamza was going to be taking on. But as we saw last week, Hamza replacing the Mighty Maki in that six-way match for the title. I'm super curious. I mean, we haven't heard a lot from the Mighty Maki. We have heard from Hamza, but Hamza's been very, very secretive of everything, which makes sense. The guy's got a master plan and he's seeing it play out. Why would he give away what why would he show his cards? So I'm definitely curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think he tapped on several things there. First and foremost, 3 weeks ago, as of this coming Tuesday, was the first time we ever laid eyes on the Mighty Maki. And what a debut it was. I mean, he came in, caused destruction, and left. We got a short, but not a real sweet explanation, if you will, from Hamza. We knew there was some kind of, meeting of the minds while he was gone on vacation in Florida. At least that's what we thought he was doing, was vacation. Clearly, he was conducting business.
Exactly.
But on the flip side of that, it's kind of one of those don't trust anybody. Mighty Maki went in and took names, essentially. A week later, Presidente got a little one up there on Hamza, for all that Hamza did to him, got a belt shot to the head, made him feel a little bit of what he was feeling. And then just this past week, I mean, during the turmoil, we saw it. We were all expecting to see the Mighty Maki, and in turn, we got to see Hamza, and he certainly left an impression in that ring, costing El Presidente his Urban Empire Championship, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I know from the brief interactions I've had with El Presidente, the guy's a busy man. When you're carrying around two titles, you're super in demand all the time. But, the brief interactions I had with him, he took so much pride in being that double champion. The fact that Hamza Shah Khan and the Mighty Maki have been such a thorn in his side since the moment they came into the I Am Wrestling world. And now the fact that they've got so much more to come and we're finally going to see everything transpire on Tuesday. I can't wait for that matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be very physical. It's turned from championship aspirations to personal. That's the one thing that I took away from it, was where it started out as, Mighty Maki was basically marking his territory and saying, I'm coming after, championships. It's certainly dissolved into a personal rivalry. So I think Tuesday you're going to see a lot of bad blood boil over. But speaking of personal rivalries, we got to transition to our second match here. Talk about what a debut by the ringmaster, but more importantly, who we met in the ring to start with, which was TMD.
Yeah. I mean, those two, man, the match was not even a minute old. I mean, the fact that they just went at each other so quickly and they were so vicious right from the jump. I mean, look, as you guys are watching what we saw play out on Tuesday on the corner of your screen, that was the first minute of the match. And this was a match for the title. And the fact that they got so focused on just beating the ever-living crap out of each other as opposed to focusing on the championship. I can't wait to see what they're going to do to each other when the title's not at stake.
Do you see the big smile on my face? That's what I call glorious violence. We saw Tuesday night glorious violence. I mean, the ringmaster, we had no clue who he was. From the brief conversation I had with him, I know he's associates with Insane Clown Posse, which kind of already a little bit of a red flag up, if you will. Maybe 100%. Not for most. They would assume that to be a red flag. And then you making his return, but not only just making his return, but how physical he looked. He looked like he hadn't missed a step. And again, it's dissolved so fast. It went 30 seconds from a competition to a personal rivalry. I mean, they fought out of the Knox Pro domain. As you can see here, folks, as you're watching alongside of us here, I mean, I can't say it enough. It brings a smile to my face watching this violence. But, I mean, street signs were brought out within a minute, you know. And right here, you're going to see, I mean, the ringmaster literally threw the street sign at TMD's head. He was going for blood here. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean,
you just don't see that every day. And then here it is. I mean, just haymakers. I've never seen anything like that in the domain. And the few weeks that we've been together, it was, for me, it got me the most excited. I was sitting on the edge of my seats trying to keep up with those two.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, last time we saw that type of violence at the domain, it was El Presidente and the Real McKeel, and they beat the ever-living crap out of each other. But also that led into the rivalry that we've seen play out over the last 2 months. You know, that's how all of this has come together. And to see another rivalry starting in the same fashion that we've seen the last 2 months of our show, the biggest angle and the biggest focus point was this rivalry between McKeel and El Presidente and everything that came with it. And the fact that we're already getting on with another rivalry with the same amount of intense passion and hatred is a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the one thing about Knox Pro Entertainment and I Am Wrestling Live every Tuesday is we have showcased many different territories, many different companies and wrestling promotions, but it was our own promotion, Knox Pro, and all the gentlemen that are involved in all these different rivalries have trained together. That's something that's understated but can't be overlooked. That's something that when you look at all three of these different individual rivalries, they all spurned in our gym. No one from the outside. These are training partners. These are confidants. These are people that we go to for instruction as students, and we're seeing personal bad blood boil over. Again, you know, who I don't envy the most is who's going to be in that ring refereeing this Tuesday. You've got 3 matches that are volatile, that are going to explode at the drop of a hat. So, Nick Hollow, is it AJ Macias? Whoever draws the assignment this week, I do not envy them in the slightest. I will wish them good luck before we go on air, and good luck to them because, again, trying to control all 6 of these gentlemen is going to be insane. Folks, at the end tonight, we're going to do rapid predictions, but we're going to move forward with our third and final match. Tell us about it, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, the third and final match we got set up for next week is the Real McKeel and AJ. And I'm super excited for this matchup just because these two have been, you know, again, we've been saying this a lot, but a thorn in each other's side, you know, for this whole time that AJ's been around. But, you know, in my opinion, I got to say the Real McKeel has AJ's number.
Well, I think what I was told is we might even have a message from him, right? I believe before we went on air, we got sent a message from the Real McKeel.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Real McKeel. And it is Thursday. That's right, it is Thanksgiving Day. And I am here at the world's famous Knox Pro domain putting in work because that is what a champion does. So let's start off by saying what we're thankful for. You see, I am thankful to be the Urban Empire champion. Well deserved, I may say, at the annual Thanksgiving Turmoil match. But let's get down to the point. AJ, the Samoan shooter, you saw fit to run in after the match, attack me, and almost rip my shoulder out of its socket. Well, AJ, Samoan Shooter, you just checked up. That's right. You got yourself an ass whooping. So, you see this? I'm putting it on the line. That's right, Samoan Shooter. Me and you for the Urban Empire Championship. I'll be seeing you real soon. It's gonna get real.
There you go, our champion, the real McKeel, letting his voice be heard. I mean, you can see the frustration boiling over. And to be honest, he should be frustrated. AJ attacked him unfairly after the bell was rung, after he had lost. The real McKeel was the champion, and there was just absolutely no reason for what we saw. So, look, I know we're doing predictions at the end, but I'm letting this be known right now. My prediction is that the real McKeel will be walking out of this Tuesday with a W and another victory over AJ.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw an attitude change when it comes to AJ. There's no doubt about that. I mean, got to give props where props is due. Veteran savviness, ring awareness, whatever name you want to put in the blank. Certainly the real McKeel showed it, and it paid off in the long run this past Tuesday night. But as you mentioned, at the very end there, it wasn't gracious in defeat for AJ. No, he came in and left a message. Whether you agree or disagree, it was certainly an attitude change from AJ.
Yeah, definitely not something I expect to see out of AJ. I mean, look, I get it. The frustration's boiling over. You're upset. Your first 2 or 3 matches that you started off here at the Domain, they ended up being, ended by disqualification. I get that AJ wanted to make his name known and wanted to leave his impression on the I Am Wrestling fans. However, you have to play by the rules. You got to do your business when the match is going. This was a blatant assault. AJ should be in jail. He should not be rewarded by a chance to step into the ring with someone who is an absolute vet and a person who I am proud to call our champion, the real McKeel.
I mean, you take that up with management all you want. I'm going to leave the management to doing what they do and booking the shows. But what I will say is this. You can best believe that the real McKeel is going to be ready. He's going to have that ring leadership and savviness about him. But I want to kind of rewind a little bit what we talked about briefly before, which is, again, these are 2 confidants. The real McKeel was there the day that AJ stepped foot in the Knox Pro Domain for the first time.
Exactly. And he'll be there the day that his career in the wrestling business ends, which is this Tuesday.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but I will say this, that the real McKeel is an expert scout. I look at it like football or baseball, any kind of scouting. The real McKeel's done his homework. He's doing his homework now, I'm sure, if he's not tuned into us, which I hope you are. But nonetheless, I definitely know that he's not underestimating AJ by any stretch of the imagination. We talk about it all the time on the live show. We'll talk about it here. AJ's a blue chip prospect. He's shown it from the moment he walked in that domain that he is meant for this business. He has put in the time, put in the work. That being said, I'm not condoning what he did, but I can understand the merit to the title shot based on everything that's happened over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say the same because when AJ first stepped into the ring, I had a lot of hopes for him. I thought, we shot him right to the top. His first matches were against El Presidente and the real McKeel. He had his chance to showcase his skills, but he didn't pick up the victories, and he's just shown me that he's a sore loser. So, look, I'm upset. AJ's got a lot to prove. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. What's the saying go? 3rd time's the charm. Well, this is now the 4th, 5th, 6th time, whatever it may be. He's got a lot to prove, and he's got a very uphill battle to make a believer out of me.
Well, let me stop you there because he did prove a lot to us. He did tap out the champion. He tapped out El Presidente. Now, circumstances be what they may. I know where we're going to go with this, but I have to admit, on the wins and loss record, it does show that he is the one that eliminated our double champion. So we do have to give AJ his props where it's due. And I do believe that he showed us that during that match, that he was aware. Now, the way that went about it, I know you're going to say it, Hamza, the low blow, there was a lot of extenuating circumstances, if you will. But we saw him tap out the double champ.
Yes, but again, Hamza Shah Khan set him up with the assist right there. And to me, that's the real story that comes out of that. And again, win-loss record, they do matter here at I Am Wrestling. But the only person who's showing as the winner from that matchup is the real McKeel. And I guarantee you the result will be exactly the same this coming Tuesday.
I want to tap on one more thing before we get to our prediction. Let's talk about Hamza Shah Khan for a moment. I did get his name right this time. So, Hamza, if you're watching, I have been paying attention and doing my homework as well. He's the biggest wild card in everything that's going on at the Domain right now. For some of those that don't know, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that he helps us with, but this attitude change we've seen in him, he's one that, a lot of people lean on in a lot of different directions. But what we're seeing now is a more personal attitude. There's something that has set him off in a different direction. Whether you, the fans at home, agree with that direction or you don't, you have to admit that he's making the most of his opportunity. We here at Knox Pro Entertainment preach it. Opportunity, exposure, access. Any way you put it, opportunity, access, exposure, whatever. So this is his moment right here. He's seizing his opportunity. He's got the access through his hard work and his dedication. Because I bored my eyes firsthand. I see the energy that Hamza puts into it behind the scenes, doing his homework, doing his studying, more specifically doing his training. And again, he's making the most of his exposure. So my question to you is this: where do we go here with Hamza? Regardless of the outcome comes Tuesday, he's got the mighty Maki. He's shooting up the card quick, if you know what I'm saying. So he's the biggest wild card right now. What are your opinions on what his place is and where he's going?
Look, Hamza Shah Khan is a very good friend of mine. He's been playing this very close to the vest, which I respect, because as a general, as a leader in this business, you have to keep your friends close and your enemies closer, and you have to know your strategy inside and out without revealing anything to the world. And right now, Hamza seems like he's got a pretty damn good strategy. I mean, you're looking at it, we're about a month into when Hamza Shah Khan re-debuted alongside the Mighty Maki, and he has been the focal point of our program since then, alongside the Mighty Maki. I've got a lot of faith that Hamza's got his plan laid out. I'm not exactly sure where it's going because his entry into the match last Tuesday was a big wild card, and that was not where I saw their partnership. But I know one thing's for sure. Whatever Hamza's got on his mind and whatever the Mighty Maki has in store for himself over the next few weeks, I have no doubt that they're going to be successful in all their endeavors.
Yeah, I think you tapped onto something there, too. We don't know exactly the direction they're going. Clearly, they have championship aspirations, but we here at I Am Wrestling highlight a lot of tag team wrestling. Hamza certainly showed himself in the Battle Royal. He's not just a mouthpiece. He does get physical when he needs to. Whether you agree or you disagree with his motives, that's completely up to you, the fans at home. But I do think it is kind of understated that, he is a trained wrestler. He will get in there. There is no doubt in my mind he will, and I think he wants. So I think that, in the coming weeks, depending on the outcome of what's going on with Presidente, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we see him and the Mighty Maki, tag together, and really, spread his wings, so to speak. And I guess my big question mark is there more people coming? Is he talking to more people? Hamza is known for his communication skills. I like to think that I have savvy communication skills. I don't have any monsters on my left or right shoulder, but he certainly did something right when he recruited the Mighty Maki to join him.
Yeah, I mean, and just to jump on that a little bit more, when it comes to the Mighty Maki, we've still yet to see him in a match. I'm really excited to see him in a match because I know that Hamza would not be wasting his time cultivating someone and spending this much time on someone if he didn't really believe in his skills. And the fact that we still haven't seen the Mighty Maki step into the ring for a match, but he's made such an impact on our program, I think that's something extremely notable.
Yeah, I think you bring up tons of valid points right there. He's the greatest unknown. As much as we don't know about Hamza, we know that much less about the Mighty Maki.
Right.
And that can also be said for the Ringmaster. And I want to tap on that in a moment, but I want to stay focused on where we're at. The Mighty Maki, what I'm most looking forward to is his ring discipline. We see a lot of guys come and go, girls come and go. And that's one thing that stands out a lot. It's the ones that go in there and it's their opportunity. It's their, they're there. What do they make of it? Is there a moment where the light gets too bright and they get blinded by it, or do they embrace it? And I think from what we've seen from the Mighty Maki, what we've seen from Hamza Shah Khan, is they're going to embrace it. And I hope and I believe that El Presidente will be prepared, but I'd be lying if I didn't bring this up. Do you think last week left a little bit of a bitter taste in his mouth? Is he looking past the Mighty Maki? He has things to settle with AJ. AJ is the one that certainly took advantage and tapped him out. So although I believe the rivalry with Mighty Maki is more personal, there's other things on the horizon for El Presidente that he's got to, look forward to as well. So not looking past, but there are things in the future for El Presidente.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, when you have both titles around your shoulders, you're going to have a lot of targets on your back. And our show this coming Tuesday is a direct result of all those people trying to go after the former double champ, El Presidente. So if I'm El Presidente, you've got to kind of clean up the mess that has been made as a result of trying to get to you. But for him, his focus right now should be getting back to the top of the mountain. Him and the real McKeel, even though they're not facing off next or this coming week, they've got a ton of bad blood. And I know that it eats El Presidente alive that the real McKeel is the man who's carrying that title that he lost on Tuesday now.
Yeah, I want to give a little shout out to Brew Age Photography. I saw a photo this afternoon, and it was the real McKeel 4 years ago. As of today, was the Urban Empire champion, and here he is 4 years there as champion. So it talks about the grind. I think that's understated sometimes. Is it's like real McKeel's been there, he's done that, but he's find that fire in his stomach, fire in the belly to keep going. And here he is 4 years later, champion again. So first of all, shout out to Brew Age for letting me do a little homework that was kind of unexpected, but props where props is due. Real McKeel, you've done your due. And I admire the fire that remains in the stomach and in the heart because that's what drives this business. It's that fire. You and I both know that. That's why we join each other every Tuesday night here at I Am Wrestling to present that fire to you, the I Am Wrestling fan. So if you're ready, let's do some rapid fire predictions.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go first. El Presidente in a non-title match. I need to make that clear. It is not for the title. He's going to go up against the Mighty Maki with, as you know, Hamza Shah Khan in his corner.
Man, this one I'm rarely at a loss for words or predictions, but I'm going to refrain from making a prediction myself because there's too many wild cards and there's too much unknown in this particular contest.
2 words, ring awareness. We talk about it umpteenth million times here at Knox Pro, but it means everything to me. I believe El Presidente has that. He's been around the block. I believe he's doing his homework now, and he will be doing it up until Tuesday. I think that even though there's not a scouting report, so to speak, on the Mighty Maki, he's been in the ring with Giants before. He'll know how to distribute his weight properly, make Mighty Maki kind of sweat a little bit. And really, the one thing we do know is that we don't know anything about Mighty Maki. So the only thing we lean on is the experience you have in the past.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, we got the glorious violence that I love so much. The Ringmaster coming back to us straight off the Carney train, going up against the man, the myth, the legend. I believe he likes to say he's 125 pounds of titanium steel and 100% sex appeal, TMD.
Yeah, this is another tough one. I've got to go with TMD here just because I think that, the Ringmaster just seems to be too unfocused on what's going on. I think he's got a ton of potential. I mean, he's violent, he's vicious, but he's also a little out of his mind. And I think that TMD is just as violent, just as vicious, but he's got more precision. He's got more focus. And I think that he knows the task at hand is going to be to beat the crap out of the Ringmaster, but also to make sure that that man's shoulders are on the mat for that 3 count. So that's my prediction for that one.
My prediction is very simple. The winner is the fans. You, the fans at home, get to watch 2 men beat the ever-living hell out of each other. If I can get it out right. You can see my excitement's already boiling over here. I look forward to it. I look forward to any kind of street sign, Singapore cane, crutch. Send them both to the hospital, honestly, because both of them are going to leave it all on the line for you, the I Am Wrestling fans at home. If I had to choose a winner, I'm going to lean what you were saying, TMD. We don't know enough about the Ringmaster. being that loose association with the ICP clan, I don't know how far that gets you in a wrestling ring. But what I can tell you is, again, glorious violence. We're all winners when it comes to that. All right, finally, let's do it, man. The new champ, the Urban Empire champ, the real McKeel, going one-on-one with the Samoan shooter, AJ Hudson.
Look, I've got the real
Sir,
McKeel all over this contest. I mean, I'm expecting the real McKeel to win. He's got something to prove. He's got a message to send. You do not make your name going after the champion. There's a great saying that I love, and it's that when you come at the king, you best not miss. AJ left the real McKeel being able to stand, being able to walk, and that was his mistake. I'm seeing real McKeel walking in with the title and walking out the exact same way.
I love when I hear that passion from you, my friend. As your broadcast partner, it brings me great joy when I see you like that. When I see the investment in you, it is awesome. So I'm actually going to agree with you. Although we don't agree on much, I love the quote you just said to our I Am Wrestling fans, but more importantly, everything you just highlighted. The real McKeel's a veteran here. He's not going to let AJ make a name off of him. As much of an AJ fan as I am, and the things I've seen, I have enjoyed in that ring. There's levels to the game, as they say. Yep. You and I both know that. He let him leave. Now, there is one wild card. What is the status of the real McKeel's left arm? Because that violent assault off the match, that's where AJ was attacking. That's where he was leaving his mark. But more importantly, that's where he gets his job done. We know that he likes to finish his opponents off with that modified key lock. We can go on for hours about all his experience with Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Tracy Hess, the McKee, senior and junior. However, what it comes down to is this is a wrestling contest. This is not a mixed martial arts exhibition. And I have to, again, highlight what you said. You can't come towards the king and miss. And he didn't leave him down. He had a chance, and we saw the attitude change. But I love that quote by you, and I think that I stand beside you in your prediction on that. So, folks, if you enjoy what you saw today, we will be doing this every Sunday. Trying to do between 6 and 7 on the Pacific time, 10 and 11 on the East Coast. Excuse me, 9 and 10 on the East Coast. But we appreciate you joining us once again. I am Dan, the Cold One Praete, joined alongside the man that puts the G in Gordon solely, Dan Etzioni. Enjoy your week ahead. We shall see you Tuesday night for our triple header.